Well, so give me a call like it's like test, okay?
Hello, people at home. Christopher, Amanda. Folks, good to hear. Ready to rock and roll? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to call this regular meeting of Hill County Commissioners to order. This is the 5th day of September 2023. Elected record reflected is 8:30 a.m. We're in the Hill County Courtroom in Hillsborough, Texas, and the quorum of commissioners is present established. This meeting was posted in accordance with Texas Government Code 551, better known as Texas Open Meetings Act. Further, this meeting is being held in person, but is available for live streaming and online participation. Has anybody signed up by 8:1? Nope, nobody speaking online today. So that being said, I really thought we were going to have somebody here from Hillsborough Interfaith Ministries Hillsborough Ministerial Alliance this morning. Not seeing them. Martin, can I call and you give us the invitation?
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you for this today. We thank you for the opportunity to come and do the work of the county. We ask you to be with us and help us make good decisions. We would also appreciate it if rain along with this. If it's getting dry. And we thank you for all the things you've done for us in Jesus' name. We pray.
Amen. It's all the pledge of American.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I present the flag of the allegiance to be one nation under God, one indivisible.
All right, thank you all for being with us this morning. Commissioner Holcomb, what's going on in precinct 1 Hill County this morning?
Well, I was just on the phone checking on the status of one of our trucks. We had a transmission go down and
What you big trucks?
when they call trucks, right, and had it in the shop several times, and the turned out it's a manufacturer defect of the transmission, and Mike won't stand behind it. So we had to go get a rebuilt transmission, and hopefully we get the truck back, get it back on the road today. But otherwise, we're hauling some of the Skyline in exchange for some itty landscape timbers for our trailers.
Okay.
And we're gonna radiate those, and then we're hauling regular under Texas next week.
Sounds good. Busy man. What's going on in precinct 2, Commissioner Crumpton?
And just still hauling rock down on a couple of roads in the southwestern part of the precinct. And this morning, we've got a bunch of 911 signs out. And
Oh, good.
so they're putting out a bunch of those signs this morning to
Take
people
pictures
know
of
where
those.
they're at.
Yeah, but take pictures. We got evidence when they steal them again.
Yeah, let's deal them again.
Yeah, all right. Commissioner Hawkins, what's happening in Hill County Precinct 3 this fine morning?
Well, as Jim mentioned, we're back to TxDOT again. They took off last week, but we're back at Miller's.
Okay.
So staying under them and trying to keep it rolling. And last week we went back and straight oil 31 and 16
Okay,
west, and we're on some regrounding.
Oh, okay, yeah.
A little catch up on that.
that holds it together very well, I hear.
Yes, sir.
Good deal, good deal. Commissioner Lake, what's going on in precinct 4 today?
We're looking at some ditches and boom straight.
Ditches and boom shredding. That is an enjoyable pastime, I'm sure. Sheriff, what's happening in your part of the world?
We're staying at around 119 in the jail. We had it around unfortunately this weekend.
Yeah.
And there was a shooting in Golson where we had to send a couple guys up there to assist with that. So that they could control.
I understand maybe one of our fleet is a victim of said shooting.
I don't have anything. I think that was some misunderstanding on the video.
Thank goodness.
I mean, bullet was weird.
No. Just gives the wrong impression, I think.
Right, it's.
No, it's Armstrong and Cordell missing for this conversation. All right, well, anyway. What's going on with gossip this morning, Justin?
Roller coaster papers, up and down. And we go as fast as we get done.
There you go. Anything going on in elections?
Yeah.
Okay, lots of changes still.
Not too much, just, they still gotta get the drama, right?
Yep, all right, good deal. Any idea on how many local entities are going to have an election? Put you on the spot, no big deal, we'll get that. Okay, good deal. Save anything in the auditor's office?
It's very important day, Jeff will certify the budget today regarding revisions.
I'm looking forward to the end of that part because I can actually get some rest and not work the weekends. This will be enjoyable. Ms. Cook, what's happening in health?
But I think look at Colorado Health, and I should be getting in contact with the on-site home services that are.
Thank you very much. That's for the dental.
Yes.
Wonderful. Looking forward to seeing that. Philip, what's happening in IT?
One of the list of computers, outdated computers that are out of warranty, with the work field replacement, and we got the fingerprints in from jail delivered last week. We're working on that install this week.
Good deal. Glad to hear that. Tom, what's on emergency management?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, kind of makes it head with that, I guess, one of our vendors, we have a meeting with them, they, 3 days kind of drop and all, they have some employee changes. So we're supposed to meet with them Wednesday, we had some other things going on, we're gonna meet with them again this Wednesday.
Good.
But I would really expect to see some installation start this week, the way they talk.
That'd be
They
great.
were talking about, they were rather embarrassed for the candidate.
Oh, wow. Okay, good to know. Steve Lincoln, what's happening in juvenile probation this morning?
Staying incredibly busy, it's never ending, and the two expulsion hearings this morning, and it's,
Well, I say that. We're in the 3rd week of school for some people, the 6th for others at this point, but
busy.
wow, it's nuts. Well, in this chair, it's the day that we talk about finalizing the budget. I look forward to this day every year because my life becomes easier after this point. As for construction, we've had a number of updates. They're still moving forward. We'll be in the Child Advocacy Center, the Veteran Service, those offices on the west side, on the north side of the building. By about a week and a half, we'll be there. If you've gone down, you see they've made some incredible strides in the last couple of weeks. Ceiling is going in this week, and then flooring, they announced the painting last week, so we're in pretty good shape on that. We still progress forward with the ag-life buildings, a few odds and ends that are getting taken care of. There's some conversations that need to happen this week between us and the oversight engineers regarding that slab. Otherwise, and the house is supposed to come down this week is what I was told. I didn't go look this morning to see if it took it down over the weekend, but that house is supposed to come down. So those things continue to move forward. For us, then after we get the budget put to bed, we're going to go back to subdivision rules and regs. We got some changes happened during the legislative session, plus things just for the way we operate that make it easier on everybody. We're going to propose those along with the culvert setting policy. So anyway, that's kind of what we've got this morning in this chair. So we're going to jump right into the agenda.
The other house, we're going to condemn, is it?
It's in the process. I don't know where we're at, but we'll get an update on that shortly. So anyway, on the open, is there anybody here to speak to the court this morning that would like to talk about something that's not on the agenda? This is your opportunity to do so. If you would please limit your comments to about 3 to 5 minutes in duration. And then with respect to you, please show respect to the court. I'll open the floor for open forum at this time. Okay, nobody for open forum, cool. So we'll go ahead and move along then. Consent agenda. There is a Scrivener's error on the consent agenda. That is my fault. I did not catch it. There is no action on payroll this week. You guys remember we set our regular meetings to be held every Tuesday in September and the last 3 of August. And just didn't catch that when I put this agenda together. So the consent agenda is action on minutes, action on invoices, action on monthly report for revenue disbursement, and observe and record elected officials. There's a training certificate like Miss Shannon Skilling's or Judge Skilling's certificate of judicial completion for that 80 hours they have to get.
Make motion for.
I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented without the payroll. Is there any other commentary, discussions, decisions, generally malfeasance about this? None. I call a question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I'm going to pass it right on to that. So our next is going to be number 1, discussion action on employee status changes for this date. As we go through, we have some folks that have moved along down the line. Mr. Motherspaw is moved on to greener pastures. We wish Justin the best of luck. Wage status changes We have a Jamie Miller and Hill County CSCD. Of course, you know, CD, Community Supervision Community Diversion. They put their own budget, Gregory Mason, so their budget started September 1. They're on a state, not us. So Keith Manning, Karina Bond, Shannon Mahan, I believe is what that says, Jennifer Chavez, Sherry Shove, Terry Price, Pamela Wardlow, missing a couple here, Tina Patton, there we go, Reagan McCurley. And those are the CSCD changes for the beginning of their fiscal year. And then Tina Lincoln with juvenile probation, again, Chief Lincoln's with us today. Also, their fiscal year is slightly different than ours, I understand it. Their funding streams make school finance look easy. That's all there is to it. It's wild. And so there's 3 of those, again, because they started their fiscal year. So those are the employee wage status changes for this date.
Motion approved.
Motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 2 is discussing a ratify mutual aid agreement with Hillsborough ISD. Gentlemen, we've done this in past years, and the reason I'm asking you to ratify instead of approve it, I believe from previous years that you guys have given me the authority. What this is, without going into too much detail on public record, is one of their contingency plans should they have a episode of any one of their facilities. We have a facility that they will be using as a rally reunion point. And all this does is ratifies that in writing, which is required by the state of Texas on their behalf. Again, you guys have previously given me the authority to sign that, but since the new year, I thought I'd come back and ask for your ratification.
Like motion.
Motion is second to ratify county judge signing mutual aid agreement with Hillsborough ISD. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Number 3, discuss and approve regional equipment transfer memorandum of understanding between Heart of Texas Council of Government separate and Hill County, Texas receiving jurisdiction agency. All of that to say, hey, will you guys let me take the trailer back that we already have in our possession?
Sure. Like motion.
Motion is second for the trailer. With a budget of 0, these guys have done some pretty cool things to us already. So that's working out. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. Let me I'm gonna fill it out now so I don't get lost in the shuffle. Okay, there we go. There's that. All right, moving along then, discussion of approved communication system agreement between Hill County and Aquila Independent School District. Gentlemen, this is a agreement for this school district to use the 800 megahertz trunk system. It's the same form previously approved, and I'm moving with recommendation. I recommend we approve it. Motion and a second to approve a system of communication system agreement between Hill County, Texas and Aquila Independent School District. Then what we're doing here is authorizing me to sign this. So hearing no questions, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Motion carries. I will sign the rest of that in a moment. All right, so that takes us on to page 2 of today's agenda. Let's consider our approved Xerox copy release renewal for district clerk's office. Your timing is impeccable, Ms. Eubank. So you've got copies of those, I know. We have, thank you so much. What do you got today?
This year, we got copiers for both the north and south office.
Good deal.
It's $75 reduction from the previous usage agreement, and I think it spans 4 years.
Good deal. Color copiers?
Yes, sir.
Good deal. All right.
Like motion.
Second.
I have a motion, a second to approve a lease agreement between the County of Hill and Xerox for the purpose of obtaining copiers for the district clerk's office. The terms of that contract are 48 months. And it is $165.16 per month, per month. So that is the motion. Is there any further discussion? And again, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion shall carry.
That's just one of them goes to, one other one goes back, side 257.4. and one's 255.
Sure enough, forgive me, I didn't see that you had it, two different sides there. So I've got that. Let's have us. Is it one lease agreement that both of them are on, or is it two separate lease agreements?
It's one agreement.
Okay. So just for clarification purposes, and there's no need to take additional action, but just this is a second copy, also a 48-month term at $257.24 a month. So, okay, good deal. Make sure we signed all of that. And we did. Tendered. All right, number 6, discuss and approve resolution of ordinance of local government to replace rehabilitated bridge located at HCR 3323 Ash Creek Branch number 164. Gentlemen, these are part of the all-system bridge replacement program. You've previously given me the authority to enter into resolutions. Well, you got to enter into the first one to get to the second one, and we're at the second one. So we're going to have 3 of these in a row. The first one for Ash Creek, Hill Country Road 3323. The second one is HCR 3102 at 2 Mile Creek, and the third one is going to be 1439. But we're going to go through them individually so our record is clear. I make a motion that we approve a resolution or ordinance of local government to replace or rehabilitate a bridge located at HCR 3323 Ash Creek Branch number 164.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. And then number 2 is discuss, number 7 is same thing again. It's a resolution or ordinance of local government to replace or rehabilitate a bridge located at Hill County Road 3102 at 2 Mile Creek, known as number 220.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the aforementioned motion. Is there any questions, discussion? This, these bridges are what is our cost share now? 7.5%, or is it less? It's right, because it was 70 and then went to 0 because of some residual funds from the infrastructure. I don't know, those are following along at home. You remember that several years ago, we had a rash of these bridges, and this money from the feds kind of seemed to dry up because even though it says agreement with the state of Texas, the money's actually passed through from the federal government. Anyway, they're doing a mess of them, and I'm happy to take advantage of that money for Hill County taxpayers.
It just takes forever.
Yeah, I'd say molasses in the wintertime does move quicker than this. So I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstention? Motion shall carry unanimously. That brings us on to number 8, which is the same. Again, it's discussion and action on resolution ordinance of local government that will allow us to either replace or rehabilitate a bridge located off Hill County Road 1439 at Aquila Creek, known as bridge number 239.
That bridge has been redone, what, Martin, in the last 10 years?
So yeah, that's one of those deals that you'll see occasionally, like, okay, well, this bridge is a good concrete bridge. Why is the state of Texas replacing it? And it doesn't make rhyme or reason. You know, we don't get to pick which bridges they declare on system, off system. We don't get to pick. You know, there was an ability one time years ago to kind of horse trade just a little bit, but they've had us replace some bridges that were less than 20 years old. And you think, well, that doesn't make sense because we still have, you know, wooden bridges in precinct 2 and precinct 3. But they get to call the shots on it, not us. So again, I think the money could be better spent, but since this is the only way they'll spend it, here's where we're at, you know.
I'll make a motion to approve
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 9, discussion or action on preliminary plat for Grandview Heights. We've got 2 that need action. Second here. Grandview Heights is one that we've had to do some extra with it. It's being proposed that groundwater is going to be the source of water for these lots, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a few extra hoops, and as of January 1, we will be required, legally, the county will be required, it's one of these changes I was talking about, to make sure that there's a groundwater study. We can do it permissively now, we can do it if we'd like to, and we have. But just letting you know, guys know, it took a bit. They went back and forth. The Prairie Lands Groundwater Conservation District is an excellent partner for us. They worked with us, went out of their way to help us out, gave us some instruction on what was going on. I can't say enough good about them. But anyway, this particular subdivision has gone before the development committee. And again, this is a preliminary plat only at this time, but you're talking about, bear with me. There we go. You're talking about a total of 5 lots on this. Lot sizes vary from 4.5 acres down to 2 acres. So everything meets our requirements. And again, it's just coming to you guys for, this will be off 4415.
1414 County Road.
That's you pave roads. If you pave it, they will come. So remember that.
So when they did the hydrology study.
Yes, sir. Well, they did the study originally that we all kind of thought was Weasley, but then the Prairie Lands people said, yeah, but we'll take it the way it is. So Prairie Lands included a letter to us saying, hey, they believe that this groundwater availability certification will do the trick. So if they're happy and they're the entity charged with enforcement, I'm happy. So we, again, the development committee recommends it to the commissioner's court for approval.
Make a motion.
Motion is second to approve preliminary heights for Grandview. Make sure I say this right, for Grandview Heights. Not this one though, so this is the one that they're gonna put off a nice new road. Jimmy built them up there. So that's not your fault. So anyway, preliminary plat, we don't sign preliminary plats, so there that is. All right, since we have a motion and a second, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 10 is discuss and or action on final plat for Aquila Meadows Estates. Okay, A, this ain't nowhere near Aquila, this is up in Blum. B, we had the first time that somebody came and they double named it. Within 2 weeks, we got 2 different subdivisions, 2 different locations with the same name. So we've got to address that in our policy a little stronger too. We can't have that. It's just confusing. So anyway, this is the final plat. We previously approved the preliminary plat. If you guys will remember, this is a fairly simple subdivision that's off of County Road 1414 as well. Yeah, your neighborhood's gonna get proud of that, man. So as you can see, this one is a total of, again, 5 lots. There's lots range in size from 2.21 acres, 2.9 acres down to 1.4 acres. So again, everything complies with what we have. It's just recommended to this court for its final approval. Yeah, no.
That's on the section that's not paid.
Yeah, this is these are the ones that are gonna be jumping up and down. Hey, when are you gonna kind of finish this?
Mhm. All right, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
So
Motion is second to approve the final plat for Aquila Meadows Estate Phase 1. Is there any further discussion on the issue?
Have we seen phase 2?
I have not, but I imagine we're gonna see it sooner than we want to. How about that? All right, well, I'll call the question and all in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye, all opposed. Motion carries. So I got everybody seated at this table and I don't want to incur the wrath of the clerk here. I'm gonna pass this thing around for signature while we're here. 2 copies, please. Okay, I'm on. Yes, ma'am. Number 11, discussion and action on proposal from Texas Roots Vegetation Maintenance LLC to maintain the key creeks in Courthouse Square. So I earlier this year, about a month and a half ago, brought in an arborist from the state of Texas Forest Service. These trees around the courthouse have had a rough year. Just the dry spell didn't do them any good. I don't remember, some of you remember we had a very large branch break out of one of these pecans over on the north side. These folks from Texas Root, they asked if they could be up when the arborists came, so they did. We went around knowing what we need to do. We're gonna have to put people up in these trees and trim them pretty good. Now, I've got the bid from Texas Roots and it was $14,400, but which is cheaper than the bid that Gary Big House gave me for $55,000 7 years ago. So, and Gary, God rest his soul, was a good dude. He's just expensive proposition. And so our maintenance before has paid off. I would like to do is go ahead and do this because at $14,000, we have the money in the contingency fund at the moment. it is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, we drop a tree branch on a car or something, that could be nitnoid money. We drop it on somebody walking on the sidewalk, it could be nothing money. I'd like to do this, get you guys approval, because they're gonna start putting lights up, into a month from now. A month from now, they're putting Christmas lights up. I need to get these trees trimmed up before that point, get the heavy branches out of it before we start doing all the Christmas decorations. Again, I propose that we accept that, and then we pay for it out of the contingency line item.
Second.
Need a motion?
I guess I moved apparently, because that's my motion. Yeah. Any discussion? And nothing around this courthouse ever comes cheap, that's for sure. But what's that? It really is. It's more than I thought it would be. I just never experienced it. It is. So anyway, all right, we have a motion in a second. No further discussion. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 12, discuss and approve the adopted budget for fiscal year 23-24. I issued this out to you gentlemen last Thursday afternoon. We went through it over the weekend. I printed this final copy up about 9:50 last night. So this budget, instead of saying it, I'll just read the letter to you. Yeah, I can put budget letters in here now. There is one thing missing at the moment that fits between pages 1 and 4. That's going to say Hightower has a form that's printed out of that through automation software. The one we check for the record vote for the tax rate. I asked her for it. I don't have it yet, but as soon as I have it, I'll include it in here. But anyway, the citizens of Hill County, as we approach the end of the current fiscal year, it's my privilege to present the adopted budget pursuant to the Texas Local Government Code for the fiscal year 2024. This budget reflects Hill County Commissioners' Court's continuous commitment to responsible financial management while addressing the changing needs of our growing county. The 2024 fiscal year presents us with several key opportunities and challenges. To ensure the accuracy and efficiency of our financial operations, we commissioned the Evergreen Payroll Study. The study's results have provided us with valuable insights to the compensation structure and payroll processes within the county government. The recommended adjustments from the Evergreen Payroll Study have been meticulously considered and then incorporated into the budget with its final adoption. It is imperative that we pay a competitive salary to attract and retain a knowledgeable first-class workforce. Furthermore, we have diligently reviewed and taken into account the adjustment requests put forth by various office holders within our county. These requests are centered around enhancing service delivery, improving operational efficiency, and addressing pressing needs in each of the respective departments. It is worth noting that these adjustments have been carefully balanced against our overarching goal of fiscal responsibility and prudence. The adopted budget for the 24 fiscal year reflects a commitment of maintaining essential services, investing in infrastructure, and supporting our dedicated county workforce. Additionally, it addresses the needs of our growing population and anticipates the potential impact of economic fluctuations. This budget has been thoughtfully structured to ensure we continue to provide high-quality services to our constituents while remaining mindful of our financial limitations and lowering the overall tax rate by approximately 2 cents per $100 evaluation. I extend my gratitude to each of the elected and appointed officials for their dedication to serving our community and their unwavering commitment to transparent and effective government. Together, we will ensure that this county continues to thrive and provide an outstanding quality of life for all residents. Lastly, I'd like to thank the Hill County Auditor, Saad Burrow, the Hill County Treasurer, Rachel Parker, and my wife, Courtney, for their help and dedication in preparing this budget. Yeah.
I know your cars.
I can't change it. If you're talking about the email you sent, we already adopted it before you sent it. I can't change it. I'm out of money.
In terms of the discussion.
Sorry, I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah. So, but right now, that's where we're at. So the highlights you'll see on the recapitulation page, which shows up on your 8th page, I believe. Hold on, just my fingers are here. There we go. Page 9, forgive me. I had to add the extra sheet last night for that deal. You'll see we start off with a general beginning balance of $8,145,670, and we're proposing an ending balance of $7,145,670. This budget does something I've never done before, which is a deficit of $1 million exactly. Why is there a deficit? Because we are proposing to expend $1 million of the unbudgeted reserve for capital projects, one-time capital projects. We know we've got a lot of them coming up, acquiring property, the sheriff's office, buildings, those kind of things. Otherwise, the budget is balanced. Now, we've had a policy from the Comptroller State of Texas. We must keep at least 25% in unbudgeted reserves, 25%. That's where it's at, about every 5% is $1 million, so less 5.5, almost $6 million. Anyway, this still leaves us with 34.8%. Our policy is to keep 35% in reserve traditionally. I think over this next year, we might want to readdress that policy. Our budget's much larger than it was at one time. I think the money we take from taxpayers, the reserve has a purpose, don't get me wrong, but I think we have a duty to expend that as well. So I'm asking this one time to put in a budget that is unbalanced by $1 million for one-time capital projects. You'll find that money is put under the 1103-4101 line, which is capital outlay. We further have budgeted for overtime for the first time ever in this. We've got a pretty large contingency number in overtime because we don't know what we're getting into, frankly. I think we do, but we don't know. So we want to make sure that everybody's covered. If they work overtime, we have to pay it. And that's the only way it should be. So that being said, we funded the change requested from Evergreen. Gentlemen, I've put a lot of hours in this. A lot of other people have put a lot of time into this. You know, you guys have put a lot of time into it. And at this point, I'm going to ask that you gentlemen adopt the budget for fiscal year 23-24 as presented. I don't have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? Hearing the question, this will be a record vote, as will the next one. So I will call the question, as is my privilege. I will vote first. County judge votes in the affirmative. Commissioner?
Affirmative.
Commissioner Crumpton?
Affirmative.
Commissioner Hawkins? Commissioner Lake? Let the record reflect that the vote carried unanimously with all members of the court voting in the affirmative. Next is discuss a public hearing on tax rate. Who's here to talk about tax rate this morning? I'm not trying to be silly, I promise. I'm just giving anybody an opportunity who wants to comment on it. I don't want to be accused of doing anything too quick. That's kind of silly because this is not that quick. This has been a nightmare that never ends. All right, well, that being said, then. So not hearing any conversation for a public hearing on the tax rate, let the record reflect that we did hold a public hearing on the proposed tax rate as was posted months ago and as was posted in this agenda as well and online. So we're going to move to number 14, which is discuss and approve to adopt a tax rate for fiscal year 23-24. Gentlemen, you find in your budgets that particular tax rate that we have previously proposed and proposed to adopt is built upon, which is for this next fiscal year. And I'm going to repeat this. Yes, ma'am. So actually, how about I do it once and just talk slower?
Okay.
All right. So for the total general fund, we have two components, the M&O. We propose to adopt a tax rate of 0.35719. For the interest sinking, that's our bonded indebtedness. We propose a rate of 0.014862. leaving us a total general fund tax ad valorem tax rate proposed at 0.371881. And then we have an FM lateral rate that we had previously proposed of 0.063753. So that is the proposed tax rates for this fiscal year. And if you need a total on that, I can do the total for you. I want to read straight off the sheet here because I'll get it wrong sooner or later. So that leaves us with a total combined tax rate of 0.43564, which is a little over 2 cents less than last year's tax rate. I have a motion and a second to adopt the aforementioned tax rate for fiscal year 2023-24. This again, gentlemen, is a record vote as required by the Texas Government Code and the Texas Tax Code. As I call the question, again, the county judge votes in the affirmative.
Commissioner votes in the affirmative.
Commissioner Crumpton. Commissioner Hawkins. Commissioner Lake. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I want to thank all the elected officials, and I don't say this as some glad handing. This is tough for everybody. We always do the job that we can with what we got. We want our employees to have the best. We want our community to have the best, but being cognizant of the fact that it was very difficult when you have a low tax base. This year has provided us with some funding that came from the solar panels, from the most of it, some new construction on homes, but not very much to speak of. So I don't know what the future year lead to, but I know with this group of folks working together, there's nothing we can't accomplish. So I thank you all for that. And that is the end of my agenda today, Commissioner Crumpton.
Make a motion adjourned.
Second.
Motion is second. We will meet again next Tuesday. Matter of fact, because we didn't get the budget done, we every Tuesday for September, we get to see each other. Who's bringing kolaches next time?
I will see you on.
I'm good with this. I'm good with this. All right, motion is second. We stand adjourned. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I'm going to.